Nowadays, the traditional technology transfer model is no longer valid. How is knowledge interchange able to become the new main trend?
Knowledge interchange is surely the new important way we are facing because, well, you may interpret in two different ways. One is interdisciplinary interchange. The other one is an approach that tries to look at different disciplines in a unified way. If you go to internet and look at the beginning of Laszlo Barabasi book on network science, you will see that what he points out is that the interaction between genes and enzymes in our body, interaction between billion of people, interaction between billion of machines interacting with people are always the same cultural approach. That is an approach that needs interchange and not only transfer. You learn by teaching, and when you teach, you learn.
Well, the new trend suggests also a shift from monodisciplinarity to interdisciplinarity. Why is it an opportunity and for whom?
Well, you know, everybody is saying that the most interesting propriety of matter is information. Information not in the sense we are used to interpret as humans. Information for a machine is not a value proposition, is not a tale, is only a stream of bits in a certain sense. Well, maybe it's the only possibility we have to know something is about interaction of information. So interdisciplinary is something that comes as a partner of digital unification. When you speak about excuse me, come si chiama? Multimediality, okay. When you speak about multimediality, in a certain sense, you say that the streams of bit unify different streams of information, voice, data, paintings, written matter. If information is the only thing that we know of matter, that is a further step of unification, because you must recognize that at a certain level, different disciplines tend to give streams that are not distinguishable from one from the other. To make a simple example, if you have a thought problem and you put on the net, it's very almost always the person that solves your problem is not a person of your disciplinary field. It's a person coming from a different disciplinary field who sees in your problem something very similar to other problems in his field already solved. So interdisciplinary is a necessity, is an opportunity for everybody, and is the first step of a way that brings us toward complex system theory. That is very difficult from an academic or professional point of view, because we are used to be evaluated in a very narrow discipline. When you are really interdisciplinary, what you do is difficult to be shrunk in a narrow disciplinary boundary. That means that everything that is really innovative has the difficulty to be only in one technology, in one discipline, in one matter. I explained before of Barabasi, and he, at the beginning of his books, spent some time to explain the difficulties he had to start complex theory, because he was a theoretical physicist, and people gave him money for a very narrow field of theoretical physics. When he tried to broaden his understanding of the world, nobody wanted to support him because he was not inside a known discipline.
La terza domanda è già risposto, io non farei, volete la rifaccio? La rifaccio? La terza? Ok. Buono, sei in spazio. Why monodisciplinary approach is no longer capable of providing a proper interpretation of the global context?
What, in my opinion, is needed to underline is that interdisciplinary approach is not only more efficient from a technical point of view, because you put together different knowledges, different people. Remember, interdisciplinary is the most difficult activity, because you have to maintain connected people. People tend to separate each other, so the effort is not only scientific or technological one, but is mostly an effort of human organization. So that is more efficient, because you gather a lot of information in a shorter time. But what I want to suggest is that you scale the complexity and the class of problems you are able to solve. So it's not only a way of solving faster traditional problems, how to say, but is also a different point of view on the world. What I mean is that we are very used to think in a classical Greek cultural way. We use intelligence to build models, and then we use all our emotional strength to force the model inside the world. That is not the only way to proceed. It's also possible, if you use fully network science complexity, to understand deeper the situation in which you are, and to try to make a step to improve the situation. So not to describe a theoretical model to force in the reality, but to change the reality with a process, that is a slow, maybe, but very profound way of changing reality. That is a way of thinking that, in a certain sense, remain in Orient, and in our culture is almost forgotten after Aristotle and Plato. If you go at the Greek culture before, I mean Democritus or Pantarei, Heraclitus, you see a different approach. That was in that period useless, because they had no mathematics and no computers. With a lot of mathematics and a lot of simulation, maybe you may change the approach, the fundamental approach to the problem. So interdisciplinary is useful as a practical recipe, but is also a thing more profound that brings our civilization back to think again of what is the conception of the world, and also of the relationship between people. In a certain sense, the real complexity is to maintain together billions of people. Also, machines tend to have their autonomous lives, but well, people are much stronger than machines to decide to be, in a certain sense, alone, to separate one from the other. And the three questions you posed to me are in a certain sense focusing not on technology, but on people, of humanity, of what we think is the future. The future, in my opinion, is not a more complex machine, a sort of electronic, of biotechnological robot, but is a different way of organizing our society.